With yours truly, Matthew Groves. This is the first live stream of 2020, the new year. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Thank you for those watching on YouTube. This is episode 47. Now, one thing I'm going to do this year is I'm going to reevaluate my scheduling to see if I can fit in better with the live coding team and see if I can optimize the time and the schedule to improve my viewership and also to better coordinate with my team members as best as possible. There's a lot of team members, so that's really not going to be a perfect optimization, but that's what I'm thinking about. But we're going to stick to the same schedule right now. So every week, Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern and Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern is the current schedule. It's subject to change. All right. Sort of my cardinal rule of this channel, of this stream, is ask questions. If you don't know what's going on, if you're confused about something, doesn't matter how simple you might think it is. If you think it's a stupid question, you're wrong. The only stupid question is when you don't ask. That's kind of my philosophy here at this channel. So please ask away. It's the only way that you can learn effectively, and it's the only way I can learn from you as well. So please ask away. All right, and I mentioned that team. I am part of the Team Live Coders here. We'll do a quick plug over here. This is a Twitch live coding team. There's lots of Twitch teams, but this is one about live coding. So you can see we have 117 members right now. So if you're looking for some live coding, let's start here, twitch.tv/live coders. These are all people who are doing coding or building or some sort of technology on their stream live, and they're willing to answer questions and interact with you. So definitely check this out. Lots of great people on here. And we'll probably go and raid one of these people later when I'm done with the stream today, towards the end of the stream. So, looks like James Montemagno is streaming. I don't think I've ever been on his channel before. So that's interesting. Okay, what else? Yes, awesome developers streaming list. New year, time to make some New Year's resolutions. To learn new technology or learn about a new technology. And one way to do that is to check out live streamers. So you start the Twitch team. This is another resource, is github.com/bnb/awesome developer streams. And you can see a list of people. It's a text file containing a list of people and links to where they live stream and what they live stream about. This hasn't been updated in 24 days. So it's been a while, but that makes sense because we're just finishing up the holidays and whatnot. But you can go here, do a Control F, search for a technology keyword that you're interested in, and you're going to find someone who is streaming about that. So if you're interested in Haskell, you're interested in Go, interested in game development, just do a Control F here and you're going to find somebody. And you're going to find your old pal Matt Groves right here in this list as well. Mostly I talk about databases. I work for Couchbase. We're a database company. So SQL, NoSQL, SQL++, and then I do a lot of back-end development with .NET, C#. We're going to do some of that today, ASPNET, ASPNET Core, and so on. So that's the sort of thing that you can expect from this stream. You can find old episodes. Some of you maybe are watching it right now on YouTube, but if you go to bit.ly/GrovesTube, that'll be a link to my YouTube channel. You can check out old episodes there. Leave comments, ask questions there. If you can't join me live because you're at work or something, feel free to ask questions there in the comments, and I'd be happy to answer them in a future stream. Or I could just reply to you in a comment. That's easy too. All right, TwitchBot is currently on. Let me just make sure it is working. Yep. Oh, I forgot about this. I should really turn this off. It's really just for testing purposes, but I don't need to announce myself in my own channel anymore. Yes, so hit bang help there. You'll get some commands from the TwitchBot, and you'll see a link there to the TwitchBot. So if you have suggestions where you want to contribute or learn how to write your own TwitchBot, this is a place you can start writing one with C#, .NET, ASP.NET. That video was I have certain users in this channel who are regulars, subscribers, and so on that I give them sort of an entrance video when they show up, like a little fanfare. And I have one for myself for testing purposes. I really need to get rid of that. There's no reason to give myself a fanfare. Anyway, I really like that. I used to watch a lot of wrestling, and that is one of my favorite like introductions, entrances of all time was the Y2J first appearance on Raw. Anyway, enough wrestling talk. C# Advent is over. This was 25 days of C# content. So top 50 posts. We actually have a couple gaps here. So we have 48 total posts. But you can see every day 2 new pieces of blog content happening in the days leading up to Christmas in 2019. We'll do this again in 2020. I'm going to work with Calvin. We're going to do maybe something a little different this year. But you can see a lot of great content here. And the last one has actually been probably the most successful, most popular posts of the whole Advent was the very last one by Calvin himself about C# 9, which is something that is currently not released. It's just not shipped yet, but they're working on it, working on the specs for that, the collaboration on that. So you can see kind of some of the ideas, some of the propositions for C# 9. But anyway, that's been a very popular post and one of the most successful ones. But there's lots of great pieces of content on here. So this will be up all year round for you to get through and read all these great C# posts. A lot of them about Blazor, some about testing, some about C# language itself, design patterns, all kinds of great stuff. So go to crosscuttingconcerns.com or csadvent.christmas, which is right there in the chat now. Although Twitch doesn't make it clickable because it's got a weird subdomain, but csadvent.christmas will get you to this page. Much easier to type in. Okay, what else? Oh yeah, I forgot about this. New Pluralsight course. So for one, I announced this a little while ago, but I am now a Pluralsight author. Now, I haven't actually published anything yet, but I will be working on some content this year. Not exactly sure yet what I will be doing. Probably Couchbase related, but don't know for sure yet. But this is a course that is just published on Pluralsight about Couchbase, and this is related to using Nickel, which is Couchbase's SQL query language, SQL implementation called Nickel. And this is a course all about writing, of course, getting the basics of installing Couchbase, but writing queries and filtering documents from your results and looking at nested structures and things like that. So this is a course, I've watched a little bit of it so far, but this is by, hopefully I can say this right, Kishan Ayer. Sorry if I butchered your name, Kishan, but definitely if you have a Pluralsight subscription, check this course out. Or if you don't know what Pluralsight is, you can get a what's it called, trial membership to check out Pluralsight and check out this course and see if something interests you. This is about a 3-hour course, so it's not terribly long, and Pluralsight has some great features to speed up the video if you want to do that. But these are all very high quality videos that Pluralsight puts together, so definitely worth checking out this Couchbase course and Pluralsight in general. Again, for New Year, if you want to learn something new, Pluralsight's a great way to do that. All right, what else? Any other bookkeeping? Yes. Okay. So I want to do a couple things today. For one, I have, let's just do this. Couchbase getting started, ASPNET. I have a old post now. This is from November 2017, so this is over 2 years old. This is a getting started, well, this is a slight blog post, but it's mostly a video of how to get started with Couchbase and ASP.NET Core. And this is ASP.NET Core 2 and Couchbase Server 5 and Visual Studio 2017. So I thought, I just use a Swagger as well. Well, we'll see if we'll still use that. I thought it might be a good time to create an updated version of this video. This is relatively, this has got some traffic on it. It's got about 2,200 views of this video. I don't know if that counts embedded videos or not, and 16 comments. So this is one of my more popular videos. So I thought it might be time to update this. It's not going to be terribly different, but it's always good to keep your content fresh and keep it updated. And so I thought of, at the very least, doing a dry run of it here on the stream today. Do some planning, maybe even just do the video here and just do like a rough cut version of it. Or if nothing else, just sort of create a practice just do a practice run through of it. So I'm going to do that today. Another thing I want to talk about today is the Microsoft Docs. So if I do something I did recently, so ASPNET Core getting started with Mongo, which is a Couchbase competitor for NoSQL, you'll see that the Microsoft Docs has a page for this, a web API with ASP.NET Core, which is what I'm going to be doing today, with Mongo, which is a Couchbase competitor. That's fine. Curious that they have a tutorial about Mongo, even though it's not a Microsoft piece of software. Still fine. But I thought, well, why not submit a pull request with a Couchbase example? Just follow kind of a similar formula here, but show Couchbase instead. So I don't know if something they want or interested in. So I have to figure out a way. I know Microsoft Docs are open source, so I could certainly submit a pull request. But before I go through all the work of doing that, I'm going to probably send over a question there to someone on the Docs team, maybe through GitHub or through Twitter or something, and say, hey, was this something you'd be interested in adding to one of the tutorials on the documentation site here? You can see it's not strictly part of the documentation itself. It's just a tutorial. But, you know, why not? Why not do a Couchbase version? So we'll kind of test the waters on that, see if they're interested in that kind of tutorial. I don't see that being a problem, especially since they have a Mongo version. Oh, they have a YouTube version as well. That's interesting. I wonder who did that one.
Hello and welcome all.
Oh, interesting. So this is not on the Microsoft Docs account or anything, but it's very interesting. So yeah, I could potentially write the article for Microsoft here and submit it, and also link to the YouTube video I'm going to create. So there's some other links to other stuff here. Very interesting. So anyway, that's a couple of things that I've thought about doing. So yeah, the other thing I want to do this year, and I really haven't sat down and figured this out yet, is that I want to do some sort of giveaway. I want to express my appreciation to loyal viewers here and give away something of substance. You know, I could just give cash, right? But I was thinking maybe a book or a conference ticket or some sort of fun prize or fun toy, and maybe using the TwitchBot chat data to do that. So I've got to figure that out. I got to sit down at some point and just figure out that, formalize that, and maybe make that part of my video routine. So that's what I'm thinking about. Here's some backlog in my text file. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's see if we can't put together an ASP.NET Core with Couchbase getting started tutorial, like an updated version. So let me actually look to see if I have in my open source repo. I may have a script from when I first did this video. Couchbase ASP.NET guide video. Is this it right here? Nope, that's an old one. Do I have a different one? ASP.NET Core, maybe? Install Couchbase Windows. This is 4.50. No, I don't think that's the right one either. Full text search. I'm looking at a local copy of my repo, which is my blog post repo, which is totally open source, by the way. Just wondering if I have a video for that somewhere, or was that before this Couchbase Windows? That was a series I did on installing Couchbase for Windows when I first started out with Couchbase so long ago. Couchbase on Azure. MVP? What's MVP blog? Three-part series. Oh, I know. This is one I did for the Microsoft MVP blog. That makes sense. A summer project. That's 2016. My video was 2017. Let's see. So what I'm thinking is I could just look at this script and .NET Core video and just sort of follow along with what I did and then update it when I need to. .NET Core. So I use the command line for this. No, that's not it. That's just a console app. Let's see. Data structures, new to 5, code mesh. So we're in 2017 now. ASPNET NoSQL Workshop. No, I don't think that's it. Tuples, yeah, I did a blog post on one of the cool C# features about tuples. Enable logging. I did a lot of blog posts, my gosh. ASP.NET Core dependency injection. We're getting closer. Session tutorial. ASP.NET Core video. Ah, I think that's it right here. All right, so I have the script on one screen here. Couchbase, getting started. I always like to start from a search engine. That's microservices. That's my newer blog post. This one right here. Let me just see if this matches the script. Easiest way to do. That was my little intro. Hello. Music. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get started with Couchbase and ASP.NET Core. For getting started with ASP.NET, check out my previous. This exactly matches my script so far. So that's cool. So I'm going to take this script and I'm going to create a new one here. And so here's the script, and I will just create a new folder here. We're going to call this one 128 ASP.NET Core Getting Started Updated 2019. Why not? Okay, and this is 127, by the way. This blog post is the one I've been working on in the last few streams. I've got a draft of that written. It's not published yet. I'm still kind of waiting for some of my colleagues to review and maybe suggest things that I might be able to fix, SEO tweaks, or anything I got wrong in the content. So that's hopefully coming up very soon. But I'll just assume that's going to get published. I'm going to move on to 128. So save this one. And Groves and 128. And like I said, this is all open source. In fact, I could update the current project in the chat room in case anyone comes by and wants to see the current project that I'm on. Blog source code. Yeah, I guess this will be an OK link. So we're going to set current project to that, and there we go. So now my bot is updated just in case someone comes by and says bang current project, they will get that link. Okay. And let's go back over here. So let's look at this script and see what I need to update. All right, so intro splash, yep. So I'm thinking if I do it here on the live stream, it might be a little awkward to edit it, things like that. So let's just do a dry run, and I'll record the video not on the live stream. All right, hello. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get started with Couchbase and ASP.NET Core. We'll omit that part. Watch this drill will be very similar to what I showed you in part 1. Nope. Nope. I'll be creating a basic CRUD, HTTP API. CRUD is create, read, update, delete. I like to, when I say a term like CRUD, I like to explain what that is at least one time, because not everyone's familiar with that term. This API will be operating on a gift wish list. All the items I want you to buy me for Christmas. I'm going to change this to my birthday. Because my birthday is coming up this month. I won't be building a UI, but you could use this API with Angular, React, Aurelia, etc. I'm going to change this to the JavaScript framework or client-side framework of your choice, like React or Blazor, etc. I'm using Visual Studio 2019. I'm also using Couchbase Server 6.5 beta, which is already installed. Okay, that's something I need to make a note of. So I've already installed it. This video is not going to cover the installation of Couchbase. Everything should work fine for Enterprise Edition 2. Okay, we'll skip that. I've created one bucket called Demo. I've also created one user with full access to the bucket. So that was a relatively, oh, hello, hey, it's one allergen. Dang, too hard to read on your phone, but love seeing your process. We'll be back for inspiration on desktop replay. Sorry about that. I can bump the font up a little bit. There's no reason it needs to be that small. Thank you very much for that feedback, One Allergen, and thanks for stopping by. Okay, so when I did this video for the first time, the whole idea of RBAC and users in Couchbase was relatively new, so I wanted to emphasize that. I don't need to do that this time. I'll be using the administrator credentials. Let's just say that I'll be using the administrator credentials for this demo. Let's start with ASPNET. That's an awkward thing to say. Let's start with Visual Studio. I'll go to File, New, Project, .NET Core, ASP.NET Core. Call it Video Part 2. We're going to call this, I don't know, ASP.NET Core Tutorial. I'm using ASP.NET Core. Okay, now this is where I actually need to bring up Visual Studio here to see what it says. I'm going to write down some notes here. File, New, Project. So this is actually different than 2017 as well. So File, New, Project is not correct. It's going to be File, New, and then ASP.NET Core Web Application. Right? Is that right? Oh, no. Yes. ASP.NET Core Web Application. Call it, okay, we'll do that. Hit Next. Call it ASP.NET Core Tutorial. Fine. And create. It's just going to create a folder and stuff. I'm going to delete this, but I want to get through it and make some notes. Okay, I'm using .NET Core and ASP.NET Core 3.1. I'll select Web. I'll select API. It's not called Web API anymore. It's just called API. I'll select API. This creates a basic shell site. I'm not going to enable for Docker. This creates a basic shell site. Let's use NuGet to add the Couchbase.NET SDK. I'll use a NuGet UI, but you can use the command line to do this. So once this is up and running, we'll go here. Allergen, let's see. Browse, okay, and then Couchbase Net Client. So I could do this. I think it's probably, there's a shortcut I could take here, but I think this is probably fine to do it this way. So I'll use the NuGet, okay, so I'll add Couchbase Net Client. This is Couchbase Net Client. I hear my children out there bickering about their chores. Mom and Dad can hardly wait for school to start again. Okay, so we'll install that. Oh, this is 3.0 beta 3. Oh, is that a new release? How new is that? Let me just take a little look here. Uh, 13 days ago. Okay. Because I remember I used beta 2 and there were some issues with that. So I'm going to have to check that out. But I'm not going to use 3.0 for this tutorial, I don't think. That might be something I'll have to update later this year. Okay, so, I want to make sure I select latest stable. I'll select latest stable 2.7, which is 2.7. Whatever at the time of this video, time of this recording. Okay, now it says while NuGet is installing, maybe that used to take a lot of time to do, but this does not take that long. Okay, at least anymore. Okay, so the Couchbase SDK. Why couldn't it? That's weird. Used by another process. What other process is using it? This isn't running on Docker or anything. What's going on here? Huh. That's weird. What's this? What's this warning? Could not read state file. Assembly reference cache. Huh. I don't know what that is. That's different. Okay, anyway, so this is what I would say after or while this is installing. The Couchbase SDK allows us to connect to a Couchbase cluster, yes. Couchbase is a distributed database, so typically there are several servers called nodes in a group called a cluster that all act together. This is all basic Couchbase stuff. A cluster has one or more buckets, which are collections of documents. A bucket is distributed amongst the nodes in the cluster, but it's treated as a single logical entity by the SDK. Within a bucket, each document has a unique key and a JSON value. For this video, my cluster has only a single node and a single bucket. In production, you will typically have at least 3 and possibly hundreds of nodes. That's a pretty hundreds of nodes. That's a pretty I mean, there are people who have hundreds of nodes. That's not typical, I don't think. The average number of nodes is much lower. The median number of nodes is much lower. But I'm going to say at least, I'm going to leave out that possibly hundreds of. That might be a little intimidating for first-timers. In production, you will typically have at least 3 nodes and possibly a few buckets. That is still the case. Okay, let's write some code in the ASP.NET Core app to connect to the cluster. Okay, this is where it's going to get different because I'm going to use well, should I? Because here's the thing. There is a library called Couchbase extensions, which includes something called Dependency injection extension, which allows you to easily add Couchbase, easily the right word, or I don't know, quickly, efficiently, low ceremony. It's an extension method to add Couchbase to the dependency injection container based on, default configuration, things like that. Just technically speaking, you don't need this to use Couchbase with ASP.NET. It's probably easier though. And I don't think this existed when I did this first video, which is why I did it with cluster helper and these extra manual steps. It's not that much extra manual steps, really. I'm also going to add the Couchbase extensions, dependency injection, NuGet package. This will give us an extension method to easily add Couchbase to ASP.NET's built-in dependency injection. Couchbase capabilities to ASP.NET's built-in dependency injection. So that's just going to be another NuGet package, which would be over here. So this is why I was saying a shortcut I could also take. I could just install just this by itself, and it would install the SDK for me. Copy this here. Well, kind of copy it. Dependency injection. So I can just copy and paste this in my video. Yep. Latest stable. Yep. So that's fine too. So I'm going to go to add that. This makes this package makes it easier to use ASP.NET Core, to use Couchbase with ASP.NET Core, but it is not, but it is optional, and is optional. And is it worth saying something like if you're not using ASP.NET, you can just use the SDK? Not really, 'cause this is an ASP.NET video. I'll just say this. This package makes it easier to use Couchbase with ASP.NET Core, but it is optional. Okay, now let's write some code in ASP.NET Core app to connect to the cluster. So in startup, let's go to and it is I didn't finish installing this yet. We're going to go startup.cs and we're going to go to the configure services method. Services method. I will use the extension method on services, and it's just use some services dot add Couchbase. And this will probably be typed out. New client. What is this? Has this been updated too? Oh, wait. Client configuration. What in the world? Did Brand or somebody go and update this library on me? Gosh. See, this is why it's a good thing to do a run through. Because this is stuff that I take it for granted. I sort of do this all the time, muscle memory. No, this hasn't been updated. What am I doing wrong here? Add Couchbase. Oh, you know what? That's the configure part. What? No, it's not. Oh, this is okay. This is what it is. All right. Okay. Okay. See, I've been doing this a little differently with like Kubernetes and stuff recently. So just plain old bare metal stuff. I've gotten a little bit out of practice. That's my excuse anyway. X.password equals password. I'm sure that's going to be my credentials. Okay. So I'm going to copy this over here. Okay, and then I'm going to make a note that I'm, in this example, I'm hard coding the configuration information, but you can also use the configuration in app settings JSON instead. Is that the best way to phrase that? This example, I'm hard coding the configuration information. I don't know. Connection information is probably more accurate. But you can also use the configuration in app settings.json instead of hard coding. I'm using hard coding twice in one sentence. In this example, I'm hard coding the connection information, but you can also use the configuration in app settings.json instead. Okay. Okay, so when the application ends, when the application ends isn't quite the right word there. That's kind of awkward. When the application terminates, one more configuration. One more configuration setting. I don't know if that's right. One more configuration. One more cleanup step. When the application terminates, I need it to release any resources that the Couchbase, Couchbase resources that ASP.NET, or I just say that .NET is using. To do that in ASP.NET Core, one way is to set up, and this has changed between ASP.NET 2 and 3, is to set up in the configure method, and add a, what is this called? I think it's iHost application lifetime now. iHost application lifetime. And add an iHost application lifetime parameter. We'll just do that. Okay. Yep. Okay. Then you can register code to happen on lifetime events. Happen is the right word. To execute. Then I can register code to execute on lifetime events, like application stopped. Let's just use that word here instead. Instead of terminates, we'll say stop, because that's the same. Same thing as using there. All right, does that code still work? I think I'm not going to use cluster helper anymore. Because I'm not using cluster helper. I'm using this, and I always forget this code. Here it is. Right there. I always forget it because I only have to do it one time ever in an application, so I haven't quite got that memorized yet. But that's the code I'll paste there. Write this, then I register code execute on lifetime. Then I can register code to execute on lifetime events, like application stopped. As Mark Hamill says, you can write this, George, but you can't say it. Then I can register code to execute on lifetime events, such as application stopped. From this point on, I can use cluster helper to get a bucket object. Okay, no, we're not using cluster helper. Okay. Oh, I even mentioned this. Couchbase dependency injection component. Interesting. I think this was kind of brand new at the time, so I was maybe a little hesitant about using it, but I have no hesitation anymore. Okay. All right. Now we can now ASP.NET Core's dependency injection system will automatically inject the Couchbase classes that we need when we need them. What you need when you need it. We'll automatically inject the Couchbase objects, let's say, into any constructors that we desire, that we want. Any constructors is not strictly true. We can just say, get more general, we'll automatically inject the Couchbase objects when we want. Okay. Now I'll create a controller, an ASP.NET Core controller for my CRUD operations. I'll call it GIFs controller. In the constructor, so let's just go and do that. Okay, we're going to create a new controller here. GIFs controller. Is there a faster way to do that? It's kind of a lot of extra steps and resharper and everything. Let's see. Add. Is that your resharper? Add controller. What does this do? Okay. API controller. What is the difference between MVC controller and API controller? Oh, Lord. See, this is what I wanted to avoid. It's doing some crazy scaffolding stuff. I don't need that. Yeah, see, I wanted to avoid this. Yeah, it's adding all this extra stuff here. Do not want. Why are we even bringing in Rosalind into this? It's just... see, and it's not even working. Cancel. Okay. See, I never use that. I don't know why it's... Yeah, I don't need this stuff. Code generation. I don't want any of that stuff. Was it logging was already here? I can't remember. I don't think so. Whatever. This is all going to get destroyed anyway, because I'm going to be rebuilding this on the video. Okay. So I'm not going to do that. New item. API controller. What about this? Okay. See, that's too much stuff. All right, I think I'll just do the do my I'll insert gifts controller like so. Okay. Yeah, it's a little annoying, but in the constructor, well, say I'll add a constructor. I'll specify a what's it called? iBucket. Oh crud. iBucket provider. Specify an iBucket provider parameter. This is an object that can be used to get a bucket from the Couchbase dependency injection module. So I will use it to get a bucket object for the demo bucket. So I'll do bucket equals bucket provider dot get bucket demo. Okay. Okay, what else? Okay, so I kind of take a step back here. Before we start writing some code, let's think about the data model. It's going to be a very simple model. A document has a key and a JSON value. What did I have on the screen for this originally? I might have just gone and... gift. Oh, as a wish list item, I thought. But gift is fine too. The document has a key and a JSON value. Key and a JSON value. The key can be just a GUID for our purposes. So I kind of want to write this out as a comment. We're kind of simulating the thought process that goes into data modeling, which is more than just creating C# classes, but we're kind of going to skim over that. We're not doing complicated data modeling for this tutorial. But you could also make it a more meaningful key if you wanted. Okay, that's fine. Each item on the wish list has a name, so there's going to be a name field. A string. A Couchbase bucket can contain documents of all kinds, so it's a good idea to differentiate. I mean, a good practice to differentiate documents in case we add more kinds of documents in the future. So let's give each item a type of wish list item. Do I use this word wish list a lot here? Yeah, I'm going to change this to wish list item, which is what I did earlier. Okay. Okay, Couchbase bucket, okay. Type of wish list item. I'll create a C# class to represent an item, ID, nullable. We'll see why later. Okay, so at this point I actually go ahead and create it. So public GUID ID. Name and type. String name. Public string type. At this point, I comment about type. One trick I like, One trick I like to do is use reflection so that type isn't just a hard-coded string, but there are trade-offs to the strategy. Use what works in your use case. So, in my case, I would say return type of wishlist item dot name, and that's going to be that. So I'm going to, so I don't have to go through the whole process. Okay, let's go ahead and prime the database with a couple of wish list items. We're going to add them in Couchbase console. Do I have Couchbase up and running? I do. So then I'll go over here and bring up Couchbase. UI, buckets, I got this, I don't know what this is. It's in test buckets. This must have been first Stack Overflow question or something. All right, delete. And I've got a demo bucket. That is something I'm not going to cover in the video, I don't think. There's plenty of docs and stuff for how to do that. So we'll go in here and we will go to Documents and add a document. At this point, I'll just take these GUIDs. Okay, and I'll give it a name. And in this video, I said Nintendo Switch. I actually have a Nintendo Switch. So I need to come up with a new item. And a type of wish list item. So not Nintendo Switch. What else do I want? I'll say recliner. That's what I want for my birthday. A recliner. Okay. The second document will have a key, a different GUID, and I'll give it a name, something else, and again, the type will be wish list item. What would be the? That's another thing I want for my birthday. Doesn't really matter. This is just for demonstration, but something make it a little more fun. Do I really want anything besides a recliner? Oh, I don't know. I can't think of anything. Say bottle of scotch, but I don't know. I don't want to get into an area that people might be offended or deterred by. Keep something inoffensive, right? Recliner's inoffensive. A bottle of scotch, some people might be sensitive about that sort of thing. So what else? What else could I want? I'm sitting here thinking of what I want for my birthday. I'll go over to Amazon wish list. I have a wish list. And see what I put on there for myself. Phone case. Yankee Candle would be good. I think that's one I said. That's one I say down here. Okay, but we'll just start with. No, because I think I say candle elsewhere in the script. Yep, I do. Okay, I had a monoprice 3D printer. Was what I had before. I already have a monoprice 3D printer because again, this was 2 years ago. I actually got that printer in the meantime. I got a Rocket book. In the meantime, I put that in here. That was pretty cool. I can't think straight. I didn't think I'd have writer's block about stuff I want to use as an example. My wish list. How about a Joey Votto jersey? Yeah, that'll be good. I have one, but a new one. A new one would be nice. Okay, Joey Votto jersey. Okay, there we go. Now we got 2 items in there. This should be the only time I'll need to enter documents into Couchbase directly. So let's start with a simple endpoint to get all the items on the list. Let's call it get all. So we got these in here. Those all look good. Public. Whoa. Action results. Probably these days I should make this asynchronous. Get all. And yeah, we're going to put HTTP get on there. And a route of API/get all. Yep, that's fine. Okay, the easiest way to do this is to write a nickel query, SQL for JSON, supported by Couchbase. Yeah, okay, fine. Let's try out a query in Couchbase's query Workbench. Okay, so we'll go over here, query Workbench. This history should be cleared. And this query will fail because there is no matching index. Let's create an index on the type field. Now we're in the query again, and it works. That should be the case. Yep, there we go. So let's code this in C#. Go back to the getAll method. And we're going to use query equals query builder.create. Right? Oh, it's query request. Did I put query builder? Query request.create. Put in the nickel statement there. What else here? Scan consistency. Yep, that's important. So query.scan consistency to not AT plus, but request plus. And then I sort of gloss over this. I'm not going into much detail. Check out the documentation for more on scan consistencies, scan consistency options. The short version, I get a water. The short version is that this will give us the most complete results, but the trade-off is a bit of a performance penalty. For this small demo application, we won't even notice. Return list of wish list items. Okay. So then I say results equals bucket dot query async of wish list item, passing in the query, and we're going to return results dot row. No. Oh, this should be a wait. Results dot rows. Why doesn't it like this? Oh, because it should be return. Okay. Results.rows. Okay, it's probably a good idea to put this code in my text file. so I don't forget while I'm recording, because that either means editing for me or re-recording. Okay, so now we could try this endpoint directly in the browser, or we could try it out with Fiddler or Postman. I hardly ever use Fiddler for this kind of stuff anymore. Now, at this point in the video, I said I used Swagger last time. I'm going to leave out the Swagger this time around. Swagger's pretty cool. But let's try it out in an API. Is that what we call Postman? API tool? In Postman, which is an API tool for making HTTP requests. I think that's fair to say. We're not going to add Swagger. Forget all that. Control F5. I'll just make a note for myself. Control F5 to start app. Well, you could try this endpoint directly in the browser, but let's try it out in Postman, which is an API tool for making HTTP requests. So in Postman, I've got this up and running here. I'm going to run this app, Control F5. Build errors. Oh boy. Rosalind's. What? See, this is some nonsense that templating thing did. Rosalind compiler server reports different hash version than build task. What is this nonsense? Clean solution? Try it again. It's the same error message. What is happening there? What is this? This is not going to be in the tutorial, but I'm just kind of curious. 3.1, that's what I'm using 18 days ago. Okay. What's happening is that compiler was partially updated by the Visual Studio installer. This is set up in Visual Studio. The team should get to the bottom of this. Oh. Repairing and then restarting the computer fixed the problem for me. Ugh. Oh, goodness. I hope this is 16.4.1. I hope this isn't a new bug. 16.4.2 is what I have. Oh, golly. Repair Visual Studio installer. Oh, no. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Let's see what happens. A restart is required. Oh, you know what? I updated recently, and it said I needed to restart my computer. Is that really restarting the computer? Oh, boy. I don't want to have to do that. Because then I have to stop my stream and the whole thing. So, all right. So I'll just fill this in later. Okay. Okay. Well, we're about the hour point right now, about 2:30. So I think I'm well on the way to getting this tutorial, getting this video prepared. So let's take a second here, and let's go back to. Yeah, I was talking about the Microsoft Docs, which. ASPNET Core, Mongo, getting started. I really like the Microsoft Docs. They are completely open source, and they're on GitHub. And so you can just go right here and hit this edit button. It'll take you right to GitHub, so you can start editing this file and making pull requests and so on. I'm curious. There's so many issues here. Is this the right place to ask, hey, is it okay if I submit a tutorial? Open. Oh, look at this. Master list. This is specifically about the Mongo one. This is the master issue for this doc. If you PR this doc and don't fix all the issues, open the issues you fix and close it against that. Open this issue 20. What is this issue for? Oh, there's some problems with the tutorial, I guess. Let me just do a quick. So, replace one. Method not working properly on .NET Core 3. Oh, interesting. It also says update to 3.0 and use proper snippets. Yeah, so it seems like this is just a way to track some of the issues with that tutorial. But if we look at this tutorial, again, going to the edit here, we can see the history of this tutorial. 11 people have contributed, and the last time it was updated was December, so recently. Let's see who originally submitted this. This guy who did the video submitted this. How did they mark? So there's a ticket for that. Looks like 8888. That's a pull request, not a ticket. Fixes 8859. Add a new tutorial for .NET Core with MongoDB. Are you looking for an ASPNET Core UI plus Mongo version or Web API Mongo version? Googling .NET Core with MongoDB yields several of each. I think that having it on official docs is a good idea. Is this a Microsoft employee? I don't think so. Well, yeah, I guess he is. Interesting. Okay. Tell us which search terms you use and how you searched docs. Tell us what docs you found that didn't address your concern. Describe the new topic. There is no tutorial present for beginners to understand how .NET Core can work with MongoDB. Suggest a location. Write an abstract in one short paragraph. Create an outline. So I wonder how this issue was created. Added the help wanted label. Interesting. Added this to backlog. It's 2018. This was over a year ago. So if I create new issue, is this going to doc request? Yep. Okay, interesting. So I could put in a doc request like this and say, hey, I think you should have a Couchbase tutorial. If there's a Mongo one, why not have a Couchbase one? Now, I mean, my only concern, just thinking about this project, thinking about Microsoft Docs, is we've got this tutorial here, Web API with MongoDB. I added one I'll add one Web API with Couchbase. I guess, I don't know if this is a problem. This might be a good problem to have. You could have a Web API with insert database. You could have, 20 to 30 of these types of tutorials. There's one with MongoDB, but there's not one for Postgres. There's not one for SQL Server. There's not one for whatever else, Oracle, things like that. With JavaScript. So this is calling it from JavaScript. That's interesting. Backend for mobile. Hey, I recognize one of those people. Steve Smith. So he's just created a Xamarin app that uses Web API as a backend. That makes sense. Interesting. This is the basics of building Web API. Oh, okay. This is using Entity Framework right here. So this might use SQL Server. So anyway, that looks like the way to go is issue a doc request. So I'm going to sort of pattern it after internal review page. Oh. Yeah, I can't look at that one. That's internal. All CLA requirements met, so I've already done all that stuff. Huh, okay. I don't know what all this is. This is the actual content. Oh, and there's some sample code. Okay. Anywho, nope. I want to pattern my request after this one. Okay, so if I did ASP.NET Core, Couchbase, getting started, there's no Couchbase example in the Microsoft Docs. So tell us what search terms you use and how you searched docs. Interesting. Mongo VS 2017. Mongo, okay. All right. Tell us what search terms you use. And so I searched with Bing, I guess, for ASP.NET Core Couchbase getting started. There is a Mongo version, and there is a this doesn't use data at all, I don't think. There's a Mongo version, but there is no Couchbase equivalent. And the first docs result is the first docs result, which doesn't reference any database. Okay, describe the new topic. Explain why this topic is needed. There is no tutorial present for beginners. I'll just say the same thing. There is no tutorial present for beginners to understand how .NET Core can work with Couchbase. Just location and table of contents. I'll just say the same thing here. ASP.NET Core tutorials, write an abstract, and I will basically just copy and paste. Perform CRUD operations on a Couchbase, and we'll call it Couchbase bucket. Now, yeah, this is fine. This is fine. Okay, create an outline for the new topic. We'll help review the outline and approve it before anyone writes a topic. Okay, outline. Setting up Couchbase. Creating a .NET Core API application in Visual Studio. Adding required packages with NuGet. Adding data models. Data model classes, I'm going to say. Writing class for CRUD operations. I guess repository, we could do that. Making a controller. Building and running the application. Something like that. Okay, I think that's it. Add a tutorial for .NET Core with Couchbase. And I'm going to do like this. I'm basing this request on what is it, 8859? Which is a tutorial featuring Mongo. I am willing to write the first draft of this tutorial, assuming you approve the above outline. Okay, let's make it visible. Tell us which, somebody should preview here. 8859, that's going to be, oh, I don't have to click. Yep. Okay. Tell us what search terms you use and how you search docs. I searched with Bing for ASP.NET Core Couchbase getting started. If you find that gender concerns, there's a Mongo version, but there is not a Couchbase equivalent. And the first docs result is so and so, which doesn't reference any database. This topic is needed because there's no tutorial present for beginners to understand how .NET Core can work with Couchbase in the Microsoft Docs. That's true. So use location and table of contents. Seems fine to me. I write an abstract, one short paragraph. That's not even a paragraph, that's a sentence. Create an outline for the new topic. Will help review the outline and approve it before anyone writes a topic. Okay, I'm going to submit that. So there we go. So that might be a upcoming episode as well. I'll just paste that here. If you want to check out that issue, that's 16373. You can see the ASP.NET Core docs are very active. Really great project. Really doing good stuff here. Microsoft Docs team is. So hopefully I can just be a small part of that, help out people who are looking to get started with Couchbase and ASP.NET Core. Having something in the Microsoft Docs could be very helpful to Microsoft developers who are searching the docs for Couchbase or looking for that kind of content. Certainly they can look at Couchbase blog and things like that, but it's nice, and a video that I'm going to be making, but it's nice to have that in a tutorial in the Couchbase or in the Microsoft Docs as well. So, all right, so I've got that request in. We'll see how it goes. Let me just, not triage label from .NET Bot. Good old .NET Bot. Okay, so I think that's all I'm going to do today. I'm going to wrap it up for today. Let's go over to, if I can type here, live coders, see who's streaming. Uh-oh. Beachcast. Thank you for the raid. You're just in time for me to go raid somebody else. Oh no. Well, I appreciate the raid there, Beachcast. Thanks for coming by, and thank you, raiders. Good to see you. Love hearing that raid music. That's great. So I just finished up. I'm working on a new updated video for ASP.NET Core Web API tutorial using Couchbase 6.5, and I got about halfway through the script, and then I ran into what's hopefully not a Visual Studio bug, but I have to restart my computer to be sure. So at that point, I decided to switch gears a little bit and go to the Microsoft Docs repository and submit a proposal to add a ASP.NET Core Web API tutorial using Couchbase to the ASP.NET Docs tutorial section. So I just finished that, and now I'm looking who I'm going to go raid myself. So if you're here as a raider, sorry, it's not terribly exciting, but we got to figure out who we're going to raid next. We got James. I don't know if I remember raided him or not. Ravenfall Dev. So I think we're going to go and raid James Montemagno, if I spell it right. Okay, so anyway, if you're a subscriber, make sure to hit that Calvin bada bing bada boom emote when you get over there. Be nice to James. It looks like he's doing some C#, but he's doing it with Xamarin. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, I'll see you over there in James's channel. Thank you very much for the raid. Thank you, everybody, for stopping in. Thank you, Allergen, for your comments and questions earlier. And if you're watching this on YouTube, Allergen, again, apologize for the font size, but should be good for you. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming.